My name is Jake Peterson. A changed character name. I live in a small town in Ohio. A peaceful place with paved roads and old houses. But I'm not the type of person who likes peace. I'm a prankster, especially one who loves to scare others. My fun is creating unexpected, thrilling situations to make people jump, scream, and run away. The feeling of seeing their terrified faces always brings me a burst of joyful laughter. I pride myself on my courage, never having been afraid of anything, not even ghost stories. In my neighborhood, there's a street called Elmwood Lane. A changed name. This street is quite deserted in the evening, with old trees obscuring the street lights, creating dim shadows. Very few people pass through there after 9 p.m. For me, it's a perfect playground for my ghostly pranks. I've had a few successful scares there, always sending the victims running, leaving me with a great moment of entertainment. I consider it an art, a way to add some spice to this boring life. On a winter evening in 2020, around 9 p.m., the air was cool and damp. Fog began to creep in, enveloping Elmwood's deserted lane. I was feeling bored and needed a shot of adrenaline. I had a new idea for tonight. A more extreme, scarier prank. I had no idea that my courage and my prank were about to lead me to a horrifying experience that I would never be able to forget. The prankster was about to face a terrifying truth. I had prepared thoroughly for tonight's performance. I wore a dark, old hooded jacket and a simple white mask that I usually used to cover my face. I wanted to look scary, but not too obvious so that the person being scared couldn't recognize me. I went to Elmwood's deserted lane. As expected, the street was empty. Only the sound of the wind whistling through the bare branches and dry leaves rustling underfoot. The fog grew thicker, creating a blurred, mysterious scene. I found a large, dense bush right next to the sidewalk, near a bend in the road. It was the ideal dark rendezvous point. From here, I could clearly see pedestrians from a distance, and when they got close, I would suddenly jump out. I crouched in the bush, waiting. Although I had done this many times, I still felt a strange excitement, an eagerness anticipating my prey. Time passed slowly. The clock showed 9:15 p.m. I began to think that perhaps no one would pass by tonight. And then, in the distance, through the hazy fog, I saw a figure. An old woman. She walked slowly, hunched over, leaning on a cane. She was heading towards me. Perfect, I thought. Scaring a frail old woman would be a memorable triumph. I imagined her screaming and running off, and I would roll around laughing. A smirk appeared under my mask. I was ready. I held my breath, waiting for the old woman to get closer. The prank was about to begin, but I had no idea that this prank would not go as I expected. And the one who would be scared would not be the old woman. It would be me. The old woman walked slowly, her cane tapping on the deserted road. She was getting closer and closer. I held my breath, feeling the adrenaline rush through my body. This was it, my moment. When the old woman was only a few steps away from me, I suddenly jumped out of the bush. I let out a short, startling yell, simultaneously raising my hands, striking the most terrifying pose I could manage. I expected a piercing scream, a moment of panic, a startled turn and run from her. But nothing. The old woman stopped. Not a sound, not a flinch. She stood there, facing me, in her old clothes, her gaze fixed on me. The joyous smile on my face froze under my mask. A chilling sensation began to spread throughout my body. I looked closer at the old woman. Her face was wrinkled, gaunt, but showed no sign of fear. And then, I looked into her eyes. Hollow gaze. They were deep black, hollow eyes. No pupils. Just two dark, deep sockets, like two bottomless pits. Those eyes stared straight at me. Unblinking, not a flicker of emotion. Completely empty. My smile died. The adrenaline in me was no longer excitement, but primal fear. I tried to take a step back, but my feet felt glued to the ground. The old woman remained still, staring at me with those deep black, hollow eyes. And then, she slowly lifted her cane and began to advance towards me. Each step was very slow, one step at a time. A terrifying feeling rose within me. This was not a real person. This was not a prank. And I had been fooled by my own bravery. I had awakened something I couldn't control. That hollow gaze. It had seen me, and it was coming closer. The old woman kept approaching me, each step slow and steady. The tapping of her cane on the ground echoed regularly in the silent space. Her deep black, hollow eyes never left me for a second. I felt as if I was firmly drawn in by those eyes. Unable to move, my entire body was paralyzed with fear. I wanted to run, wanted to scream, but I couldn't. My throat felt as if someone was clutching it tight. The old woman just kept walking. The darkness seemed to consume her. But her deep black, hollow eyes became even more prominent. The air around us grew cold. A bone-chilling cold that wasn't the chill of a winter evening, but the cold of death. I could hear my heart pounding wildly in my chest. Like an empty drum, each of the old woman's steps came closer. Like a terrifying melody, I saw the presence of evil. Not the evil of a thief or a murderer, but the evil of a dead soul, bound by pain or hatred. When the old woman was only about 2 meters away from me, I could see her wrinkled face more clearly. And what was even more terrifying, there seemed to be a faint, indescribable smile appearing on her dry lips. A deadly smile. I wanted to scream, "Who are you? What do you want?" But not a sound escaped my mouth. The deadly approach continued. I felt as if I was sinking deeper into a nightmare with no escape. I had no intention of scaring a ghost. I just wanted to scare a normal person. But I had scared something that did not belong to this world. And it didn't run away. It was coming closer to me. Night consumes everything, leaving only those deep black, hollow eyes and that chilling smile. I knew I was about to be touched. And there was nothing I could do. When the old woman was just an arm's length away, I felt an incredibly cold gust of air hit me. I could smell a musty and earthy scent emanating from her. The smell of death. In that moment, a primal jolt of fear broke through my paralysis. With all the strength I had left, I turned and bolted. I ran frantically. I had never run so fast in my life. My footsteps pounded on the deserted road. My gasping breaths echoed in the fog. I didn't dare look back. I was afraid that if I turned around, I would see the old woman still standing there. Or worse, she would be chasing me with those deep black, hollow eyes. Every gust of wind whistling past my ears. Every dry leaf falling made me jump. My heart racing. I felt as if the old woman was right behind me. Her cold breath on the back of my neck. I ran non-stop, past dark houses, through deserted alleys. The old woman's face with her hollow eyes kept replaying in my mind. Like a haunting image, I could hear myself mumbling, "Unbelievable. Unbelievable," while tears mixed with cold sweat streamed down my face. Finally, I reached my front door. I rushed inside, hastily slammed the door shut and locked all the bolts. Even propping a heavy chair against it, I leaned against the door, gasping for breath, my entire body trembling violently. My heart pounded wildly, as if it wanted to tear through my chest. I turned on all the lights in the house, checking every corner, every crevice, as if the old woman could appear at any moment, anywhere. Panic consumed me. I lost sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those deep black, hollow eyes staring at me, answering from hell. My prank had received a terrifying answer from another world. I, a person who specialized in scaring others, was finally the one scared out of my mind. That night changed me forever. Elmwood's deserted lane was no longer a place for me to seek fun. It was a terrible reminder of a horrifying truth I had accidentally stumbled upon. For a week after that fateful night, I couldn't get any sleep. Every time I tried to sleep, the image of the old woman's wrinkled face with her deep black, hollow eyes reappeared, haunting me relentlessly. The tapping of her cane, her slow footsteps, echoed in my head. I became timid, afraid of the dark, and no longer dared to go out in the evening. My pranks no longer held any meaning. I understood that there are some things humans should not trifle with. The haunting from Elmwood's deserted lane urged me to investigate. Who was that old woman? What happened to her and why was she there at that hour? And why did she have such terrifying eyes? I started searching for information about the history of Elmwood Lane, about the town's old stories. I scoured old local newspapers, asked elderly residents in the neighborhood, and even searched online forums about haunted places in Ohio. And then, I found it, an old story, a forgotten tragedy. On a harsh winter night in 1985, within the time frame you requested, an old woman named Martha Bell, a changed name, a recluse who rarely left her small house on Elmwood Lane, disappeared. Police searched but never found her. It was rumored that she either froze to death in the snow or was murdered by a wanderer and her body hidden. The terrifying thing was that some local residents had reported that, after Martha disappeared, on foggy nights, someone had seen the hunched figure of an old woman, leaning on a cane, walking slowly on Elmwood Lane, and they all spoke of her eyes, deep black, hollow, and lifeless. The horrifying explanation had been revealed. The old woman I had tried to scare was the spirit of Martha Bell. Her soul was still bound to Elmwood's deserted lane, where she had disappeared or tragically died. Perhaps she died alone, from the cold, or was harmed, and the pain, despair, or hatred kept her trapped. The haunting from Elmwood's deserted lane was no longer just a ghost story. It was a living testament to a real tragedy, an unresolved injustice. I had learned a valuable lesson. My courage and my pranks had led me to a boundary between the world of the living and the dead. I will never dare to go through Elmwood's deserted lane at night again. And I will never joke around with anyone, or anything, again. If you enjoyed true horror stories, or stories based on accounts and mysterious locations, like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the channel to follow our latest videos. We will bring you more terrifying and haunting stories. Thank you for listening.